Los Angeles, a locked arena, no cameras, no tickets, no witnesses who are supposed to talk. The greatest boxer in history lowers his guard and says, "Hit me." 3 seconds later, the impossible happens, and combat history is quietly rewritten. Los Angeles, California. February 1972. The city is in one of its strange in-between moments, caught between the fading innocence of the 1960s and the harder, louder decade that's coming next. Hollywood is reinventing itself. Fame is becoming sharper, faster, more dangerous, and at the center of American sports culture stands one man so large, so dominant, that his presence alone bends reality around him. Muhammad Ali is not just a boxer in 1972, he is an idea. He is the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the most famous athlete alive, and possibly the most recognizable human being on the planet. 6'3", 210 pounds, reflexes so fast they look unreal on film, a man who talks, dances, taunts, and humiliates opponents before he ever touches them, a man who beat Sonny Liston, outsmarted Joe Frazier, and survived punishment that would have ended ordinary careers. Ali doesn't just win fights, he rewrites what fighting looks like. Boxing trainers study him like a natural disaster, fighters copy his footwork and fail, journalists describe him with words usually reserved for mythological heroes. To the public, Ali isn't just unbeatable, he's untouchable, too fast, too smart, too experienced, too real, and Ali knows it. By 1972, his confidence has grown into something sharper than arrogance. He believes, truly believes, that no man alive can stand in front of him and do anything meaningful, not in a ring, not under lights, not when it counts. Heavyweights, lightweights, wrestlers, street fighters, it doesn't matter. In Ali's world there is boxing, and then there is everything else pretending to matter. Martial arts especially sit low on his list of concerns. To Ali, kung fu is exotic, flashy, entertaining, something that belongs in movies and demonstrations, not under real pressure. He has been punched by men who train their entire lives to knock out other men. He has felt fists that carry the weight of freight trains. Compared to that, what can a martial artist possibly do? This belief is not cruel. It's not malicious. It's logical, from Ali's perspective, because boxing has rules, structure, proof, champions, belts, records, clear winners and losers. Martial arts, at least to the Western world at this time, feels mysterious, unverified, wrapped in philosophy and tradition rather than measurable results. And Ali thrives on proving things. He thrives on challenges, on spectacle, on moments where doubt exists just long enough for him to crush it publicly. That's why the idea begins to take shape, not as a real fight, not as a sanctioned bout, but as a statement, a demonstration. Ali doesn't want to beat a martial artist. He wants to expose one, to stand still, drop his guard, and show the world that when fantasy meets reality, reality wins every time. Because if the greatest boxer alive can stand motionless and absorb the best strike a martial artist has to offer, then the debate ends forever. Boxing reigns supreme, the king remains untouched, and somewhere in Los Angeles, quietly, patiently, another man is hearing these words for the first time. A man who doesn't argue, doesn't boast, doesn't laugh. A man who understands that this challenge is not about ego. It's about truth. Bruce Lee is not supposed to be part of this world. He doesn't belong to boxing gyms that smell like sweat and liniment. He doesn't come from championship belts or sanctioned rankings. He isn't built like a fighter people fear on sight. 5'7", 135 pounds, a body lean, coiled, efficient, more like a weapon than an athlete. In 1972, most of America knows Bruce Lee as something else entirely, a martial arts instructor, a philosophy-driven teacher, a Hollywood oddity. The Chinese man who moves too fast on screen, who talks about water and flow and freedom. The man whose fists blur on camera and whose kicks look exaggerated, almost fake. But the people who train with him know better. They know Bruce is obsessed with speed, obsessed with efficiency, obsessed with stripping combat down to what actually works. Bruce does not train to look impressive. He trains to end moments, to enter, strike, and leave before the opponent's body understands what happened. He studies anatomy the way boxers study opponents, nerves, angles, timing, distance, vulnerability. Where boxing perfects endurance, Bruce perfects interruption. That's the philosophical divide. no one in the crowd understands yet. Boxing is built on exchanges, hit and be hit. Martial arts, as Bruce practices it, is built on avoidance of exchange entirely. When Bruce hears about Ali's challenge, he understands the trap immediately. This isn't a fight designed to be fair, it's designed to humiliate. If Bruce declines, the narrative is simple. Martial arts is scared of boxing. If Bruce accepts and fails, his credibility dies in front of witnesses who will never forgive him. If Bruce succeeds, the world won't accept it anyway. There is no winning scenario. And yet, Bruce does not dismiss it. Because for Bruce Lee, combat has never been about crowds or validation. It's about truth under pressure, about discovering what remains when theatrics fall away. Ali's challenge, arrogant as it is, offers something rare. A moment of honesty. One strike, no defense, no movement, just cause and effect. Bruce spends nights thinking about it, not training harder. He doesn't need to. He has trained his whole life for moments measured in fractions of seconds. He visualizes distance, placement, reaction. He imagines Ali's breathing, his stance, the way a heavyweight boxer holds tension in his core. Bruce knows something most people don't. A solar plexus strike isn't about strength. It's about timing the breath. You don't hit muscle, you hit air. Ali's camp, meanwhile, is enjoying the noise. They want witnesses, not cameras. Enough people to confirm, but not enough to turn this into a scandal. The boxing world expects a lesson. The martial arts world fears an execution. When Bruce finally responds, he does so with a single condition. This is not a fight. This is not boxing versus kung fu. This is not entertainment. One strike. Ali stands still. Bruce strikes once, then it ends. No rematch. No explanations. No second chances. Ali agrees instantly. Because to Ali this feels safe, controlled, almost charitable. He has stood in front of men who tried to knock his head off for a living. What danger could exist in a single stationary moment? What Ali doesn't realize is that Bruce Lee is not stepping into boxing rules. He is stepping into biology. As the date is set and word spreads quietly through Los Angeles, tension begins to thicken. Trainers argue. Masters debate. Journalists whisper. Hollywood watches. Everyone senses the same thing. This shouldn't happen. Not because it's illegal, not because it's dangerous, but because once two worlds collide like this, someone's truth is about to break. The downtown sports arena doesn't feel like a venue that night. It feels like a secret. The lights are on only above the ring. Everything else lives in shadow, faces half seen, voices hushed, movement careful. 300 people fill a space meant for sanctioned violence. Yet nothing about this moment is official. No announcers, no ticket stubs, no cameras rolling, just witnesses. They stand and sit around the ring, boxing trainers who have spent decades teaching defense, martial arts masters who have devoted their lives to precision, sports writers who know how stories are born, and Hollywood figures who sense they're about to see something that will never be repeated. In the center of the ring stands Muhammad Ali. He is loose, relaxed, at home. Ali bounces lightly on his feet, rolling his shoulders, shaking out his arms. His white shorts catch the light. His red gloves flash as he raises his hands to the crowd. He smiles the smile that has disarmed and dominated opponents for years. I am the greatest. The words aren't a claim anymore. They're a fact of life. The crowd reacts unevenly. Cheers from boxing loyalists, nervous silence from others. Some people shift in place, already uneasy with what's about to happen. This doesn't feel like competition. It feels like a test. Ali stops bouncing. He looks down. Bruce Lee stands across from him, impossibly smaller. No gloves, no robe, no warm-up ritual, just black training pants and a stillness that doesn't ask for attention. The size difference is almost uncomfortable to look at. Ali grins. He enjoys this part. The psychological edge, the showmanship. He steps forward and taps his own jaw with his glove. "You gonna hit me right here," he says loudly. "Your best shot. I ain't blocking. I ain't moving. Let's see if this kung fu stuff is real." Murmurs ripple through the arena. Some people smile. Some wince. This feels like a setup. Bruce doesn't respond. A professional boxing referee, someone who has counted knockouts and stopped brutal exchanges, steps between them. His presence feels strange here, like a formality borrowed from another world. "Mr. Ali," the referee says carefully, "you're sure? No defense at all?" Ali nods, still smiling. "I've been hit by the hardest men alive. Let him try." The referee turns to Bruce. One strike, head or body. After that, it's over. Bruce nods once. I understand. His voice is calm, controlled, almost soft, but something in it changes the atmosphere. People lean forward without realizing it. There's no anger there, no nervousness, only intention. The referee steps back. Silence falls. Ali spreads his arms wide deliberately. His gloves drop to his sides. His chin is exposed. His body, trained, conditioned, legendary, is completely open. It's absurd. It's arrogant. It's pure Ali. Bruce doesn't move. 1 second passes. 2, 3. The crowd begins to shift. The pause stretches too long. Whispers form. Doubt creeps in. Is Bruce hesitating? Is he frozen? Did he miscalculate? Then Bruce takes a single step forward. Just one. He closes the distance until he's well inside Ali's reach, so close that a traditional boxer would already be firing. Still, Bruce's hands remain at his sides. His shoulders stay relaxed. His breathing steady. Bruce looks up into Ali's eyes, and something changes. Ali's grin fades, not completely but enough. His eyes narrow. For the first time that night, he isn't performing. He's observing. Because what he sees isn't fear. It's focus. Absolute, undiluted focus. The kind that doesn't rush. The kind that doesn't hesitate. The kind that knows exactly what it's about to do. Bruce's right hand moves. There is no wind-up, no telegraph, no visible preparation. Just motion, a flicker. And in that fraction of a second, before the crowd can react, before Ali's reflexes can even begin to fire, history crosses a line it can never uncross. No one sees the punch. There is no dramatic arc to Bruce Lee's arm, no shoulder rotation, no step that signals power. His fist doesn't travel in a way the eye expects to track. It simply appears, 6 inches from Muhammad Ali's body, then disappears again. The sound is sharp, a dry snap. Not the deep thud of heavyweights colliding, but something cleaner, precise, almost surgical. Bruce's knuckles land just below Ali's sternum, directly over the solar plexus, the dense cluster of nerves responsible for breathing, balance, and involuntary muscle control. The strike is timed perfectly, arriving at the exact instant Ali exhales. That timing is everything. For a fraction of a second, nothing happens. Then Muhammad Ali's body betrays him. His chest locks. His diaphragm seizes. Air leaves his lungs and does not return. Ali's arms, which were spread wide in confidence, fall to his sides. His knees soften, then buckle. There is no dramatic backward fall. No staggering collapse. The greatest boxer in the world simply shuts down. He drops to one knee, then both. The canvas touches his gloves. The arena goes dead silent. 300 people stare at a sight their minds refuse to process. Muhammad Ali, conscious but helpless, unable to draw a breath, his nervous system overwhelmed by a single perfectly placed strike from a man nearly half his size. 5 seconds pass. Ali tries to inhale. Nothing. His mouth opens, his body leans forward, instinctively searching for air that isn't coming. Panic flickers across his face, not fear of pain but confusion. His brain is sending commands his body will not obey. This has never happened to him. He has been hurt before, rocked, cut, exhausted, but never silenced like this. Bruce stands where he struck. He doesn't celebrate, he doesn't step back dramatically, he doesn't raise his hands. His arm is already back at his side, his posture unchanged, his expression calm, almost neutral, as if he has simply completed a calculation. The referee rushes forward, dropping to his knees beside Ali. "Champ, can you breathe?" Ali nods weakly, hands pressing against the canvas. His lungs begin to respond in shallow, ragged gasps. The spasm releases slowly, painfully, like a knot untangling itself deep inside his body. One breath, then another. As air finally returns, realization hits harder than the strike itself. Ali looks up. Bruce is still there, waiting. There is no triumph in his eyes, only confirmation. Ali pushes himself up, unsteady, shaking his head as if trying to wake from a dream. He stares at Bruce, disbelief written across his face. "What did you do?" he asks, his voice hoarse. Bruce leans in just enough for Ali to hear him. "I showed you what you asked to see. No one in the arena speaks, because everyone understands the same thing at the same time. They didn't just witness a punch, they witnessed a rule being broken." Muhammad Ali stands again, But something fundamental has shifted, not in his body. His breathing returns, his balance steadies, but in his eyes. The man who once dominated rooms with certainty now looks at Bruce Lee as if he's seeing an undiscovered law of nature. Bruce doesn't wait for applause. He doesn't explain himself to the crowd. He remains focused only on Ali. Ali straightens his posture and exhales slowly. Then he asks the question only one fighter can ask another after something impossible happens. How? Bruce's answer is quiet, meant only for him. Power isn't the point, he says. Timing is, precision. Understanding the B. Odie, you train to endure. I train to interrupt. Ali listens, not as a showman, not as a champion, but as a student. Bruce explains just enough to matter. He speaks of nerve clusters, of breath cycles, of striking when the body is least prepared to defend itself. He doesn't diminish boxing. He doesn't challenge Ali's greatness. He simply states a truth that exists alongside it. Every body has vulnerabilities. No amount of strength erases them. Ali nods slowly. Then he does something no one expects. He reaches out and takes Bruce's hand. He lifts it, not high, not theatrically, but enough for the room to see. Respect. The arena erupts, not in unified celebration, but in argument. Trainers shout. Masters debate. Some people swear Ali let it happen. Others insist they saw something real. No one agrees, and that disagreement becomes the story itself. Bruce steps out of the ring without another word. He walks through the crowd as people instinctively make space for him. No interviews, no explanations. He disappears into the Los Angeles night the same way he entered, quietly. Ali remains. He speaks to a handful of people. Trainers, journalists who aren't supposed to be there, friends. To each of them he says the same thing. He hit me. I didn't see it. I didn't feel it coming, and I couldn't breathe. Those words spread, but never far. Mainstream sports media dismissed the story. Too unbelievable, too inconvenient, too damaging to the idea of hierarchy boxing relies on. No footage exists, no official record, just witnesses and whispers. The story becomes a myth. Martial arts circles repeat it with reverence. Boxing circles deny it with laughter. History files it away as rumor. And that's exactly where it stays. For the rest of his life. When Muhammad Ali is asked who hit him the hardest, he gives the answers people expect. George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Sonny Lee, Stan. But in quiet conversations, away from microphones and crowds, he tells a different truth. Bruce Lee, he says, one punch, I never saw it coming. Bruce never speaks publicly about the night. He doesn't need to, because he didn't step into the ring to win a debate. He stepped into it to demonstrate a principle. That combat isn't owned by rules, belts, or weight classes. It belongs to understanding. And somewhere in Los Angeles, in a locked arena with no cameras and 300 witnesses, two men from different worlds met for 3 seconds and proved that history doesn't always announce itself when it changes.